I'm going to read a poem. Thank you, Jim. Amazon. Next week, there's going to be a celebration of the life of Lucille Clifton. We lost her earlier. And it's called 73 of Her Best Friends. And it's being put on by Furious Flower at James Madison University. So I was fortunate enough to be one of those 73 friends. So I'll share with you what I will be reading. Amazons. When the rockery of women warriors all cupping one hand around her remaining breast, daughters of Dahomey, their name fierced on the planet, when they came to ask who knows what you might have to sacrifice. Poet, Amazon, there is no choice. Then when they each with one nipple lifted, beckoned to me, 5 generations removed, I rose and ran to the telephone to hear cancer, early detection, no mastectomy, not yet. There was nothing to say. My sisters swooped me in a circle, danced. Audrey was there with them, and I had already written this poem to Lucille Clifton. Grace, Eve, and Ruth agreed that there would be no CPT, and that's colored people's time. They wanted all the shopping the day had to offer. On a soft April morning, the best girlfriends rifled through rural Alabama with hopes as wide as country pastures they passed. Eve Sharp drove her father's new 1968 black Chevy Impala. Eve's family was in the business of black cars. Black is the color for the dead, she always joked with her friends. Grace was to be picked up at 7 a.m. so they could eat breakfast at the McDonald's on Highway 43, which was a treat since she had only been to McDonald's one other time, but not for breakfast. By 10 a.m., they would all be at the mall when the doors opened. Grace and Eve weren't sure what kind of dress they wanted for the prom. Ruth was sure she wanted a white lace dress, maybe one that she could even use for her wedding dress later on. When they finally arrived, the mall wasn't as crowded as Grace had remembered, and it didn't seem as big as it had 2 years ago. Ruth White told her that it was because they were there early and it was not a special sale day. Ruth's mother taught at the elementary school. They were able to shop at the mall at least twice a year. And at the mall, blacks could even try on clothes. The church ladies always shopped at Stein's when they came to Eufaula. Some even had accounts, but mostly they appreciated the respect and the credit that was extended to them. The fashions weren't flashy, but were of good quality. Grace's mother told her that the Steins owned a store, and they treated the colored women right, since the store owner was Jews. Only the family worked there. They ain't got no big business backing them, Miss Lucille, their neighbor, always said, like she was their best friend. Grace never understood what her mother and Miss Lucille meant about them being Jews. It was just one more thing that she had to learn. She missed Mr. Reed. He knew everything. It wasn't right that the smartest teacher at the school was fired just because some people called him a hippie. Grace liked him because he didn't automatically treat the light-skinned students better. He preferred the smart students and talked to them every day in class, reminding them that they could change the world if they were prepared. And that preparation started in the classroom by doing well in school. What was wrong with that, Grace wanted to ask out loud to the world. They had begun to get on each other's nerves, and this time had no reserves to fall back on. For the first 15 minutes, they drove in silence. Ruth fell asleep on the back seat. Eve found the soul radio station. A coral-colored streak in the dark sky looked like bruised oranges rising from the black night. I really like your dress, Eve said to Grace. Thank you. I like yours too. Someday we'll be together, played on the radio. Eve and Grace joined in with the Supremes. Ruth faded out of her sleep and joined them, singing in her silvery voice. When the song ended, Eve was about to turn the radio off, but she heard. We interrupt this program to bring to you a special report. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. has been killed in Memphis, Tennessee. While he was on the balcony at the Lorraine Hotel, several shots were fired. As far as we know, no one has been arrested for the killing of King. We repeat, the Reverend Martin Luther King is dead. Oh my God, this is terrible, Grace said, shaking. What does this mean? Ruth asked. It means we have even more of a reason to be scared of white folks, Grace said. You know who I just thought of? Eve asked. Dr. King. Ruth sat up from the back seat between them. Mr. Reed. Eve said. Me too. I miss him so much, Grace said. I thought about him because I heard that he really got fired for marching with Dr. King, Ruth said. We all heard that. I wonder what he's doing this very minute, Grace said. He could even be dead too, Ruth said. Please don't say that. Grace covered her face with both hands. Fear swelled in her friends as the black